Good morning everyone. Today is the day. It is finally here. It is currently, when I'm filming this, the very last week of August, and we are heading into September and my autumn season here. So today is day one of an entire month of autumn deep cleaning. Now I want this clean to resemble my spring clean, a really deep down, pull everything out, get everything scrubbed clean, and I'm kind of excited and kind of dreading it at the same time. It's a lot of work, but it desperately needs doing. I've kind of let things slide over the last couple of weeks, so I am starting a little bit early this week. But yeah, we're going to start today in the toilet and in the bathroom, and if I've got time, hopefully the stairs and landing as well, but that might be another day. So yeah, I'll be uploading 2 times a week for the entirety of September with pure deep cleans. Hopefully it will all go well, it will all go to plan. Let's go into the bathroom where we're going to begin today, and we're going to get started. I'm going to be showing you what I'm going to be using, and we are just going to clean each room from the top to the bottom. We're going to pull everything out, we're going to remove everything, we're going to scrub deep, and we're going to get everything beautiful. Let's get going. Okay, so we're now in the bathroom. Sorry about the sound of the extractor fan. I'm just going to quickly show you the bits I'm going to be using in here, and then we're going to get on with the clean. We're just going to get straight into it. So, excuse my phone and headphones. They are very necessary for a deep clean. So I have my Zoflora wipes in the Lemon Zing scent. These are going to be used for just going over and removing all the dust and hair from things before I actually scrub clean. I have my Dishmatic filled with just normal dish soap, just fairy liquid. This is in a rhubarb scent, I think it is this time. This is going to be the bulk of the work, it's going to be this. And then I have my Zoflora in Spiced Plum. This is my favourite autumn scent. This alongside the Zoflora as a pear one, which is really yummy for autumn. So we're going to be using that scent, and after we've cleaned and scrubbed we'll be going over with this in some nice hot water just to disinfect and leave a yummy scent. I have my gloves, various scrubbing devices. I have my Pink Stuff Quick Cleaner. I have my Viacal Lime Scale Remover, and if necessary I have this liquid heat drain cleaner. This is really good stuff. My husband picks it up, I think from like Tool Station or something like that. This is heavy duty stuff, guys. Use gloves, be very careful. This is not Mr. Muscle, this is next level, but it's amazing at getting like good blocks out of drains and stuff. I'm also going to be using my window vac for doing my shower door, but aside from that, that's everything I'm going to be using today. Let's get cracking. Okay, so off we go. I'm going to start at the top of the room with the extractor fan. Now, I spent about 45 minutes prior to me doing this trying to figure out how to get the cover off the vent without ripping the vent off of the ceiling. It did not want to come, no matter what I did, no matter what I pressed, no matter how I did it. It was not going anywhere. So I decided to get my little radiator brush and just go behind it the best I could. I did get a spider out and a bit of cobweb, so I did actually do some good in there, but it would be nice to get this off properly. I will, if I do ever figure it out, I will do it as a short cleaning behind here because it's still really quite dusty and mucky in there. But for today, that will have to do because I really don't want to break it trying to get it off. So moving on now to the wall. This is above the sink where my mirror hangs. I couldn't see in like real life time marks on these walls. I could see the mark directly below the screw, which I'm currently doing now, but the rest of the marks on the wall I could not see. So I'm not really sure what they are. I'm going to go back and have a little look because it almost looks like it stays wet, but it wasn't wet. It's something else. I'm not sure what it is. I'm going to go back and have a look at that. I've only just noticed it in editing. But I'm just going over the wall very, very quickly with a little bit of the Pink Stuff cream cleaner and just getting the mark off the wall that was there. I'm then popping it onto a toothbrush and getting the tile tops because they get quite dusty and mucky there before drying it all down and buffing it with a microfiber cloth. So now this is where the Dishmatic really comes in. Most of my cleaning today will be done with the Dishmatic. I find that a simple soap and water does get rid of most gunk, most gack, and then I will go over everything with a wet microfiber cloth that has the Zoflora on it, which will leave everything smelling nice and autumnal. So it will be clean from the soap and it will be disinfected from the Zoflora, so it will all be lovely and clean. So I'm just cleaning up the soap suds with just a random sponge. I've got a big pack of 10 with me. I'm going to get through a few sponges today, no doubt. So I'm just cleaning up the suds with a sponge and just going over with the microfiber, which has the Zoflora on it, for that nice little smell and a bit of a buff. Moving down now to the sink itself. This sink gets really, really mucky. Today was no exception. I'm just going to pop a bit of Viacal spray on the tap itself to remove the hard watermarks and any lime scale that is building up around the tap. You know, it builds up no matter what you do. Doesn't matter how often you clean your bathroom, you're going to get a lime scale build up over time. And Viacal is my absolute favourite for cleaning lime scale off. It doesn't take very long if you do it quite regularly. I only leave it on for about a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and it seems to do the job perfectly. There's nothing that it didn't shift. Do be careful with Viacal though, guys. Make sure you're in a well ventilated area. It does have a very strong chemical burn on the back of the throat if you're using quite a lot and if you're not in a ventilated area. So do be careful. But it is good stuff. It is worth having a bash at if you can get hold of some. So yeah, tap is all done. No lime scale on that. Again, just buffing it with that cloth with the Zoflora. I'm using the spiced plum. It smells divine. It smells absolutely beautiful and it's starting to get me into a little kind of festive mindset, which I am not sad about at all. So as you can see around the plug, there is kind of like a brown ring. I'm pretty sure this is where, when I'm upstairs editing, I will drop like the remnants of my tea. I always leave a little bit of tea in the bottom because I don't want to get tea leaves in my mouth. And I kind of dump it down the sink and it's created this little ring. So I'm going to go at it with some Viacal today. I think it's going to get it off. I'm going to leave it for a few more minutes than I normally would just to see how that does. And I'm going to take my Dishmatic around the bottom of the sink, around the pedestal, and around this kind of boxed in piping that's at the bottom. This is a very, very quick little 2-minute job, but I don't get to it very often because it does involve me pulling out the cabinet that we usually have here that's got way too much stuff in it, if I'm honest. I really need to go through it. I'm going to give it a little bit of an organised today when I put it back in. But I do want to come through after I've done the autumn clean and have another declutter of all our toiletries. I find that toiletries is one of them things that just really, really builds up no matter what you do, no matter how careful you are with what you're buying. When you've got a house with 5 people in it, 5 different mindsets, 5 sets of people trying to look after themselves, buying bits and bobs here and there for kind of self-care, you end up with a very full cabinet very quickly. And it's just a case of you have to just keep going through, maintaining it, getting rid of stuff, you know. You can only do what you can do. I'm sorry that this little bit here is slightly out of frame. I'm going round with some of the Pink Stuff cream cleaner and an old cleaning toothbrush, and I'm just cleaning up the silicone sealant around the bottom of the pedestal where it meets the floor. So back up to the sink now. We're going to see if the Viacal has done the job on that brown ring, and indeed it had. Wonderful stuff with Viacal. Good as new. Look at that. I must stop putting tea down this sink. I must. It's really bad. I do obviously wash it down, but I guess some gets caught in that little ring around the plug and stains. you know, it's just life. So going back down again to this kind of box section, again, Dishmatic, simple, easy, quick. Sponge to remove the suds, and a little bit of a buff with the microfiber and the Zoflora. That is pretty much the recipe for everything that I'll be cleaning today. The only exception is some areas I will go over with a Zoflora wipe first. Areas that are particularly dusty or grimy, the Zoflora wipe will take off the hairs and the dust and some of the grime before I go in with the Dishmatic. It's kind of like a stage cleaning thing. It works really well, and it means I can get this done as quick as possible. I think in the end, this room took me about 4 hours. It doesn't look like it in the video. It looks like a really easy clean, but what you guys can't really see from the footage is just the layer of dust, the layer of kind of grease and grime and soap suds and hair, constant hair. I've made a new rule that anybody that's going for a shower must brush their hair outside of the bathroom before they go in, because there are constantly hairs all over everything. Anything you pick up in here has hair, and I pulled out genuinely. I didn't film it. I wish I had. I didn't have the camera rolling at the time, but genuinely a mouse-sized ball of hair out of the plug. It was disgusting. I pulled like a couple of hairs that were just caught around the plug hole, and this whole great wodge came out. It was grim. It's satisfying, but grim. It was literally the size of a mouse. No wonder the poor thing hasn't been draining properly. So I'm moving on now to the radiator. I have removed the cover. It has like a top and 2 sides. I did that off camera because usually, and today was no exception, when I take it off, they're very, very, very sharp, and I usually slice my finger. I did actually slice my finger today, but it didn't draw blood for once. So I didn't film it because I really didn't want kind of me cutting myself on the footage. But if you do want to see a video of how to take the covers off the radiators, please let me know. I'll do a short. It is very, very easy, but these things sit for a long time untouched, and so they get kind of stiff. The metal expands and contracts and creates this very tough situation to get it off. You need a bit of leverage. I tend to use a flathead screwdriver and some really, really thick gloves. But yeah, if you do want to see how to get the cages that go around the radiators off, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to make a short of that for you, so that you can get inside your radiators. I know most people are aware of how to do it, but when they first put our radiators in, I didn't know, and I spent months trying to figure out how to get inside it. So yeah, I will do that for you. So I'm just going down the back of the radiator now with my, it's not actually a radiator brush, but I use it as a radiator brush. This is actually a brush that I got from Shein. I did like I wanted to make a video of like home cleaning stuff from Shein. And I ordered a few things and most of it was awful. But this brush is really good, and it's actually for inside the tumble dryer. It's for getting inside the door behind the lint trap. But it actually works really, really well at getting into these tiny crevices in the radiator where the spiders hang out, where the dust hangs out, and in this case, where the plaster hangs out. So when they did our bathroom, they had to come back and do some remedial work to some bits that went wrong. There's lots of plaster dust in this radiator. There's lots of dinks in it. It's really looking rough. So I was very glad to get that brush in there. And now I'm just going to clean the tops and the sides of the radiator. Again, guys, be careful if you're doing this. These things are sharp. I'm not joking. They are very, very sharp. And they will quite happily slice you open without a second thought. These ones were also particularly grimy where they'd come back and done the remedial work, and I hadn't been able to get them off the last time I tried. I think the last time I tried, it was still kind of the height of winter, and we had had the heating on, and so the metal had expanded a little bit and I couldn't get them off for love nor money. Now that they're cold, it was much, much easier to get them off. But that means they have been sitting for a very, very long time without being cleaned on the inside. So I'm going over them very quickly with a Zoflora wipe first, which did not a lot. it got the dust off, but the main grime, it didn't even touch it. So I'm going to go in with some pink stuff paste. I didn't include that in my original, this is what I'm going to be using, because I didn't think I was going to be using it. But I ran downstairs and I got my pink stuff paste and I went back over it. It did an amazing job of getting all the bits and bobs off, and then I just rinsed it down. You'll see all that on the video as I'm going through, but I just thought I would tell you what I'm using and when, so that you know if you've got your own that you're cleaning along with me, baby, you know what I'm using. So yeah. At the moment, I'm still trying to get it off with the Zoflora wipes. Zoflora wipes are good, but they're not really particularly good at degreasing. So this seemed to be like a kind of weird, oily, greasy something or other. I don't even know what it was. It could be some hair shampoo or conditioner or something that's gotten onto the radiator and kind of burned on when we've had the radiators on. It could be actual oil. I mean, it could be anything. It could be literally anything. We've had so many tradesmen in and out of the house. It could be anything, genuinely. But yeah, the pink stuff paste, as usual, I really like this stuff. Did a really, really good job of lifting the grease. It did a good job of removing the marks. It's a shame it can't get rid of rust, but it's not a miracle. I think at some point, in the not so distant future, maybe in the new year, I'm going to grab a few tins of radiator spray and I'm going to respray them because they are looking kind of rough and it would be nice for them to look nice and neat. And then I'll be getting a radiator cabinet, or making maybe a radiator cabinet, depends on how difficult it is. I'll have a little look on some YouTube tutorials and see if I can figure it out. But then it will be all covered up and I won't have to do this quite so often because the dust and the hair and stuff is not going to get into it as much. It probably will only have to be once a year that I will take the radiator covers off and clean it properly. And usually I do the radiators in the autumn because I know that they're going to be switched on soon. The cold weather is coming. We're going to want the radiators. And I can't stand it when you turn the radiators on that first time in the autumn or the winter, depending on how tough you are, and you get that kind of burning dust smell. That's horrible. So I do tend to do them this time of year, sometimes a little later, just to make sure that I don't get that burning dust smell. So now I'm just rinsing them off with a little bit of water and I'm going to leave them to drain. I did forget to mention the reason why they are on a towel in the bath is so they don't scratch the enamel of the bath. It's a new bath, it's been in for about 1.5 years now. I don't want any scratches on it, so that's literally just to stop these bad boys from scratching the bathtub. And yes, that towel was incredibly heavy to take out of there, but I'm glad I did it because I know that these would have damaged it. So I'm going to leave them to drain in the sink for a little while I clean the rest of the radiator. So back to the good old Dishmatic and some fairy liquid. I don't know if I mentioned, but this is like a rhubarb, pomegranate, something like that scent. It's nice. It's a nice berry scent. It's lovely for the autumn. And I'm just giving the front of the radiator a quick go over with that. If you see me talking on this video, all 3 of my children are home today and kind of one by one they've come up to chat to me. So I'm not talking to you guys and covering it over. I'm talking to the kids. I think I was talking to Rachel at this point. She was back to work today and it was a really busy event at the pub where she works and she was really nervous because it's her first kind of big main event there. So I was just trying to reassure her that she'll be okay at the same time as filming. So I'm not sure if you can see on the footage. I can't see on my editor. I do apologise. I've only got a tiny little window on my editor. But a lot, and I mean a lot of dust and ick came out of this radiator. And it's now all underneath, kind of trapped behind these pipes. Pipes are up there in my bugbear list alongside wires. Wires and pipes make me absolutely crazy. I hate being able to see pipes. I hate being able to see wires. And the thing that I hate most about pipes is that they, even when they're clean, they look dirty because they tend to be uneven. They tend to be really roughly painted. They tend to have, like these ones, dust trapped behind them. And I don't know what the flooring guy did with the caulk, not the caulk, the silicone around the bottom of these pipes, but it's not a good look. It doesn't look good. I'm going to have to take that off at some point, and redo the silicone so it's a bit neater. But like I say, hopefully it won't be too long and I will have a nice radiator cabinet over this anyway, and then you won't be able to see it. So with the little, I don't know, what do you call these, valves? The little valves on the end, I'm just putting a little bit of the pink stuff paste on a toothbrush and cleaning in those because they've got like little marks and engravings and stuff on them, which don't look too hot. And then I'm using the pink stuff cream cleaner again to go around the silicone and the skirting boards. The skirting boards definitely need a repaint. They used oil-based white gloss when they did the bathroom, and anybody who has used oil-based white gloss before knows it is not white gloss for very long. I think you get about 2 or 3 weeks and it starts to go yellow, and because we have it against a very stark white paint, it looks like it's been there for centuries. It looks awful. So I'm going to have to strip these skirting boards back and paint them with either another oil-based paint but in a cream, specifically in a cream, and match the wall to it like I've done in the bedroom, or paint it in a water-based gloss. You can get a water-based gloss now. It's much, much better. It's not as long-lasting as an oil-based gloss, but it doesn't go yellow. So yeah, that's the radiator all complete and put back together, which was just as much of a pain in the bum as taking it apart. So I'm moving on now to the bath and shower area of the bathroom. I do apologise, my bathroom is quite small. It's really, really hard to get the camera set up at an angle where you can see everything. There are going to be a few small bits during this footage where I kind of come out of frame a little bit. I try and keep up with it. I've got my viewfinder on my camera facing me as much as possible, but at some angles I just can't see what the camera's seeing. So my apologies if I go kind of off screen for a few seconds. I do tend to realise and then change the camera angle anyway. So again, Dishmatic, tiles, easy peasy, quite satisfying. One of my favourite jobs in the bathroom, if I'm honest, is going over the tiles, and then I'm going to rinse it all off when I'm finished, and I will use my window vac just to dry them off so you don't get streaking. It works really, really well for me. I've found that I don't need to do anything other than that. I don't need to go and buff it with a cloth or anything like that. It works out really, really well. It's a little bit time consuming. I have ordered one of those electric spin scrubbers. I think the next time I have to do the tiles in here, I was really hoping it was going to arrive before today, but it didn't. Next time I do the tiles in here, I'm going to use that instead of the Dishmatic, because I think that's going to shave down my clean time by about 5 or 10 minutes. But honestly, it's a small bathroom, so I don't really mind doing it with the Dishmatic. Like I say, it's quite satisfying in the moment. I don't know if you can really see, looking at my tiny little viewfinder here, I can't really see the suds, but this was really lathering up and getting all over the tiles, which was really nice. So I'm just going to pop off the shower head, which of course is going to soak me, as it always does. There's never a bathroom clean where I don't get soaked in one way or another. And then I'm going to do the tiles behind the shower, and then I'm going to use some Viacal again on the shower itself to get rid of the hard watermarks and just to buff it up to a nice shine. I do have my stainless steel cleaner downstairs, but because this is a deep clean and that's more of like a every day, every week kind of cleaner, I've left it downstairs for today and we're going to go with the Viacal. But the Method stainless steel cleaner also works really, really well on my shower too, to get it nice and shiny and to get those watermarks off. So that's what I'm going to be using on there. And so it comes time to deal with the evil shower door of nightmares once again. Going in with the Viacal today because I'm not messing around. It's not been cleaned for maybe a week, so it's looking really rough. There's shower gel, there's conditioner, there's shampoo, everything is all over this door, as well as hard watermark, general grime. So I'm going to go over both sides with the Viacal, and then I'm going to rinse them off. And again, I'm going to use the window vac to clean this off. Again, this seems to be the simplest and quickest and most effective method that I've found for cleaning this, because as many of you know, it's a bugbear of mine. Sorry about the angle, not my most flattering. So this little corner by the shower door, I can't seem to get to properly, even with a toothbrush. I'm thinking about maybe picking up a very fine bottle brush, or I'm not sure, some kind of, I think a stiffer brush will be more useful. I'm going to get it best I can today with the Viacal, but obviously this is where all the water pools, unfortunately, from the shower. I've taken the strip off at the bottom of the door to kind of really expose it today to get it best I can. But yeah, if anyone's got any tips for that, please let me know. So this back panel here, you've seen me clean 1,000 times, right? I'm always cleaning this bit because it's not quite level, and we do end up with kind of water puddling in that back corner there. So it gets grotty quickly. But as you can see on this video, when I actually go to work on the grout, getting it clean, they did not seal the grout on this particular bit when they put the bathroom in. Everywhere else is fine, you can scrub the grout no problem, but here it always comes out black, and I don't know if there's something I can do about that. If any of you know if I can seal it this late on, like I say, this bathroom has been in for a year and a half. Is it too late? Can I still seal it? Is there anything I can do to stop the grout coming out every time I clean it? Because I'm really worried that eventually there's going to be precious little grout left in there, and then we're going to have problems with water getting underneath the tiles and all that palaver. So yeah, please let me know if you know if there's anything I can do about the grout on those particular tiles there, and I will certainly get them dealt with, because it makes it look like it's really dirty as well. It's not dirt, I promise. It's the black grout, which I don't like, but I'm stuck with. So moving on now to the bathtub itself. As you can see, it's really kind of dirty. That's where I've been in and out with my sandals on, making a mess of things. I tend to leave the bathtub until last these days because I know that I've got to get in there to reach things. With the shower door the way it is, I can't reach the top of the shower or anything like that from standing on the floor. I have to get into the bathtub to reach everything, and so the bathtub gets really dirty with either my feet or my sandals, as the case may be, where I'm getting in and out and rinsing things, and it just makes a whole big mess. So I've left that till last today. I've just via cowed the two handles and the shower head, and now I am via calling the big main shower head. I tend to do this at least once a month because I know what these things are like when they get scaled up, and we are in a hard water area. I really don't want that to get scaled up. I don't want to have to be replacing it every 5 minutes, so I do try and do that quite often to keep the lime scale at bay. So I've just used up the last of my Cif cream cleaner. I wish I'd got another bottle because I still have the toilet to do today, but I will manage. I will manage with Pink Stuff paste instead. And then I'm just going to go over once again with my Dishmatic, give it a really good scrub. The bath is not bad at all, aside from the muck from my feet today. This gets cleaned pretty much in the same way, pretty much every single day. There's nothing that I really do that's different with the bath itself on a deep clean, because it gets cleaned deeply every day anyway, because this is an area that you want to remain hygienic. You know, you're laying here, you're bathing here, you're cleaning yourself, you are very exposed intimately, let's say, and you really don't want bacteria and germs and stuff in the bath. So this is pretty much a standard bath clean, which you guys have seen me do a million times. Nothing really changes other than I put a little bit of Viacal onto the handles and scrub with the toothbrush in the corners of that to make sure that I'm getting rid of any limescale and hard water build up there. But yeah, standard clean. But the bath looks gorgeous at the end of it, and I'm really happy that I've got it all done. So the last thing that I'm going to be working on in the bath area is the taps. I'm going to zoom into those in a minute because I didn't realise at this point that I was out of frame. So I've sprayed it all down with Viacal. It's been left a couple of minutes, and I'm going in with my cleaning toothbrush and just going around everything, all of the joins, all of the crevices and the nooks and crannies and stuff like that, to make sure that all the hard water is off of there. I wish we lived in a soft water area. It would save me so much time. But where we are in Hertfordshire, it's very much a hard water area. There's no getting away from it. If I had my own way, I think I would save and put one of those water softener filters on the main water run into the house. But because we are tenants, we don't own this property, you know, we can't do that. So we are stuck with hard water. But yeah, if I ever am in a position to buy my own house, which someday I hope to be, definitely a water softener will be one of the things that I will be insisting on having. So I'm trying the little trick today with the shaving foam. I don't know how I feel about it. I hate that the mirrors steam up in the bathroom. I really do. And I love this mirror to bits. My husband got this. And usually he's kind of rubbish at picking things, but I love that mirror. But it steams up really badly every time we're in the shower. You can't see what you're doing. So I'm going to try the shaving foam method and see if it works. But it did leave it a little bit streaky. I'm going to live with it for a little while and see how I get on with it. But I think I'm probably going to end up cleaning that again. So the last thing I'm going to be doing in the bathroom today is giving the floor a good scrub clean. I have previously gone over this with Zoflora wipes just to remove the dust, the hairs, the crumbs, things like that. And now I'm going over it with the Dishmatic, with the Fairy Liquid once again, cleaning the suds up with the sponge, and then I'm going to be going over it with an old cloth. And then I will come back later on tonight, once everyone's gone to bed, with a mop and bucket with Zoflora in to give it a final disinfect. I probably won't film that because knowing me at the moment, it'll be about 2 a.m. I've not been sleeping. I don't know why. For the last week, I've been getting on average about 2.5, 3 hours, if I'm lucky, of sleep a night. I'm absolutely exhausted, but my body has taken to just kind of waking me up at 2 o'clock in the morning and not letting me go back to sleep. So I'm trying to find the silver lining in that, and it's a really good time to get things like mopping done without people walking in and getting dirty feet all over the wet floors. So I will probably come back tomorrow morning at about 2 a.m. and mop the floor with Zoflora. But for now, I'm certain that it's clean. Like I say, I've been over with the Zoflora wipes. I've been over with the soap. It's had a rinse. You know, it's as clean as it's going to be. And none of us are in the habit of licking the floors anyway. So I'm not too concerned that anyone's going to get sick if it's not immediately disinfected. It's come up really nice. And I will be honest, I'm going to blow my own horn here because that water that was in the little bucket that I was using was not even that dirty. It's actually pretty good. Normally when I do a floor scrub that's this in depth, the water is filthy and disgusting. But whatever I'm doing, it must be working because it really wasn't at all dirty. It was ever so slightly grey, like nothing major. Not like the dirty water dumped from the carpet or anything like that. So I'm quite happy that I'm cleaning the floors effectively in the bathroom and the toilet. So I am going to go back and get that bit behind the door. Do not panic. That will be the last bit I am doing in here today. Some of you may have noticed I have not done the door or the door frame. The reason why I have not done the door or the door frame is that I am including those in my stairs and landing deep clean. Because I concentrate on the outsides of the doors, it makes sense to do the insides of the doors then rather than today, because I'm just going to go and mess up everything if I do it today that I've already done. So I will come back to the doors. I also want to be painting the doors as well when I've cleaned them. I want to clean them and paint them straight away. So I'm waiting to be able to grab the paint that I need. But yeah, they all get done together along with these stairs and landing. So now it's just a case of putting everything back, making sure I don't put all the rubbish that we don't need back, and putting a cute little autumn pumpkin towel out. I'm really happy with how this room has come out. It took longer than I thought, but it's looking great. Next up will be the toilet. Okay guys, that's it. 4 hours later, we are all deep cleaned, refreshed, scrubbed and spotless. I'm really, really happy with how it's turned out. The only thing that I was not able to do was the extractor fan because I couldn't figure out how to get it off without breaking it. So I do have a new pull cord coming. This one, as you can see, is quite discoloured and disgusting. So there is a new pull cord coming. It just did not arrive before I needed to start this job. So all that's left to do in here now is repaint the walls, hang a bit of art, and we are all ready and done in here. So, autumn deep clean number 1 complete. Okay, so part 2. It is the same day. I stopped to have a little bit of lunch. My husband's gone back out, and now it's time to come back and do the toilet room. I'm not expecting this room to take a particularly long time. Literally the only thing we have in this room is a toilet and an extractor fan. Again, I don't want to break the extractor fan. I will come back and do these once I've figured it out. That was me seeing a spider fall out of the fan, which was disgusting. It was dead. But yeah, gross. There's a lot of kind of powder paint in here where my husband has been sanding the bathroom, and it's all just got caught up in the extractor fan. But the angles that I'm working with, I'm trying to lean over the toilet, I'm trying not to hit the camera. I'm going to have to come back to the extractor fan when I know how to take it apart, because it's just not working today. So I've decided to just move straight on to the toilet. Now, because I am in the toilet room, I have changed out the liquid that I'm using. So I'm currently using a Zoflora wipe, as you can see. But in my little bucket that I've got just off screen, instead of having water with Zoflora in it, I have water with bleach in it. Obviously, I'm cleaning a toilet. I don't want to be transferring germs around. Which is why I'm going over everything, with Zoflora wipes first. I'm trying to remove as much of the germs and stuff as I can with that first. Then I will go in with the Dishmatic, which has obviously the fairy liquid in it, but it's also sitting in the bleach, and the pink stuff paste with the toothpaste, which again is sitting in the bleach. So be very, very careful, guys, when you're using bleach. It can be dangerous to use with other things. Make sure that you are checking that you are using things that are safe together. Bleach and fairy liquid, as far as I'm aware, are okay together. I've never had any issues from them. I've never had any headaches. I've never felt lightheaded. No one's ever been ill from it. But please be careful. Do not mix chemicals. It's not a good idea. These are the only two that I will mix because I've been doing it my entire life, and so far so good. Everything's been fine. I would not mix anything else with bleach. It's so deadly and so quick as well. So that little rant over. Don't panic if you see me using the Dishmatic in different areas, because it's going into bleach. So it's fine. I also do change the head out before I take it onto the floor. Now, in hindsight, I think I probably would have cleaned the skirting boards and the floor first and then come back to the toilet. But that didn't make sense, because then I'm splashing all the stuff from the toilet onto the clean floor. So I decided to do the toilet first. Yes, I am using the same Dishmatic for all of the toilet areas, but I will change the head before I take it onto the floor. Please do not worry. I'm being very safe. I'm making sure that I'm not spreading germs around this time of year. Germs are about. They're definitely about. So I'm being very careful. So do not worry. I am safe. Everyone is safe. And I do go over it several times with several different cleaning agents to make sure that there's definitely no germs floating around. And if they are, they're tougher than me, and they kind of deserve a part on this life. So the toilet was particularly grubby today. I'm not sure. I think just because it's still the school holidays and everyone's at home, it's always grubby. Every time I go in there, it's like, oh, the toilet's grubby again. Better clean it. So I just leave my Zoflora wipes in here now. It's so much easier. I'm going around with the pink stuff paste to get into the little crevices of these, I don't know what they're called, bumpers? On the underside of the seat, because there's kind of like joints in them, and I can't get to them properly with the wipes or anything like that, so I'm using my pink stuff paste to get those out. There's not actually any muck or anything, it's just to be sure. So I decided today I was going to try and use this silicone brush one more time. I bought it because I thought, you know what, it's going to be so much easier to sterilise, it's so much less icky, it's more hygienic than the other brush. But it's so rubbish. It's so rubbish. All it did was ping a load of Harpic across the wall, which is now stained. Yay. So I ended up grabbing one of my sponges in the bleachy mix, and I'm just going to wipe that round. I'm going to get right underneath the rim of the toilet and make sure that's all clean as well, because the brush, it just did a pants job. This brush is now in the bin. Don't bother with the silicone paddle brushes for your toilet, guys. They are beyond useless. I'm tempted to try a silicone actual proper bristle toilet brush, the round ones. If anyone's got one of those and has experience, let me know how they go. At the moment, I'm leaning towards just keeping my standard ugly, unhygienic toilet brush, because nothing else seems to do the job as well, unfortunately. So yeah. Toilet's about there now, just wants a little flush, and then that's all done. Now, obviously, guys, this room is tiny. I think it's about 5 foot by 3.5 foot, something like that. It's a tiny room. It's really, really hard to get the camera set up at the right angles. So I do apologise for me being all elbows and shoulders and you not being able to see properly. I do bump the camera a few times. I'm sorry. I really am. I'm genuinely sorry. There's not a lot I can do. I did buy one of them head cams, like the action cams, to try and get some footage for you, like point of view footage, but the image stabilization is horrendous, and apparently I'm kind of bouncy when I'm cleaning. I move around quite a lot, so the footage was atrocious. So I apologise, but you get the general idea. I'm using the Dishmatic, which has been soaked in the bleach, and going around the outside of the toilet now. We have men in this house, they miss. We also have 5 people in this house. There's lots of dust and dander and hair and ick, it gathers on the toilet. I would love a floating toilet. I really would love a floating toilet. That would be amazing. So I've swapped out the head on the Dishmatic now. I've soaked the toothbrush in bleach, and now I'm going around with pink stuff paste on my skirting boards and on the silicone sealant around the edge of the floor, because I find this is a really good way of removing the dust. Silicone, I have a love-hate relationship with silicone. I love that it keeps the water from going into, like, underneath the flooring, but it kind of clings on to dust. Has anyone else noticed that? Like, even when you wipe it, it really holds on to the dust. I think I probably should dry dust it rather than damp dusting. I might try that in the future. But yeah, it took a bit of doing, but I got there in the end. I also have a bit of a problem with some paint beads, droplets, whatever you want to call them, on the floor. My husband decided to come in and paint in here like a primer so that we can put some new paint up, and he didn't cover the floor, so there's lots and lots of drips of paint everywhere and nothing's getting them up. So I decided to use my Dishmatic and just kind of use the scraper to scrape that off the floor. And it worked. It worked okay. So if you guys have got any paint splatters that you need to get rid of, or spatters, is it splatters or spatters? I think it's spatters. Anyway, I'm rambling. It gets it off. It did a good job. So the last thing I'm doing in here today is going to be the floor. I'm going to use the same method on the floor as I did in the bathroom. I'm going to go over it with a Zoflora wipe first, and then I'm going to go over it with the Dishmatic. I'm going to remove the suds with the sponge, and then I'm going to dry it with a microfiber cloth, and I'll come back later with my hot water Zoflora mop, and I will give it one final mop. That is it for today, guys. I apologise for my rambling. It's probably because I haven't slept properly in a week. But I'm really happy that I got this cleaning done today. I was kind of dreading it, but kind of excited for it. I'm glad it's over. These were the 2 rooms I really didn't want to do, and they've come out really well, and I'm really, really glad that I've done them. The next upload will be in a few days' time. I'm going to try and do 2 a week of the autumn cleans, and I think it should be either the stairs and landing or the lounge, depending on when my husband gets out of bed because I can't do the stairs and landing while he's asleep. So I will see you in the next one, guys. Thank you so much for spending today with me doing our autumn clean. I hope it's motivated you to do some cleaning as well, or if not, I've just been company for you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, guys. Have a great week.